Anyway, United Healthcare orders employees to not talk to the press in the wake of the CEO's murder. What? That's insane. What do you mean? What do you mean? It's saying fucking you can't talk to the... Oh, there's also new oh god, a fucking... All right. Speaking of karma and people who have done a lot of wrong but have consistently done it within the legal within the confines of legality. Let's talk about the story. United Healthcare CEO gets fucking murked by a hitman. Now, of course, I must urge you not to Fed post in this chat, even though, holy shit, everyone. Like, I think this is one of the first instances where I've ever seen so much universal support for something that is so criminal. You know what I mean? Honestly, I don't know. We're living in interesting times. We're living in scary times. We're living in interesting times. Let's take a look at the story.
For the suspect who gunned down United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside a New York City hotel. Our senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Katursky, is at the hotel with the latest on the investigation. Good morning to you, Aaron.
Good morning to you, Robin. 24 hours after this assassination.
Okay, what is Fed posting, though? Fed posting is when people just like get out of hand and say unhinged shit in the chat that might get them the attention of federal law enforcement. Also, oftentimes it's federal law enforcement that writes stuff like that in online chats to agitate people so that they can pop them, you know, coerce people. But some crazy stuff happened yesterday in New York City, and honestly, very interesting times that we live in. Let's take a look.
Style killing. The killer is at large, but he left behind a trail of clues here at the scene that may lead police to him and to a possible motive, suggesting anger with the insurance industry. This morning, a frantic manhunt for the man authorities spotted on this survey.
So this dude, big homie over here, okay, Mr. CEO, walking up to his hotel, okay, having a wonderful day. You know, he's like, man, I can't wait to get a fucking child with cancer, no coverage, so their fucking family is saddled with medical debt. You know, just a regular old day for Mr. CEO. He's just like, walking over to my medical conference where I'm going to go, you know, hang out with a bunch of other CEOs, and we're going to talk about how many claims we denied, that sort of shit. I assume that's what's happening in the mind of a healthcare CEO on any given Sunday, right? Like, you got to be constantly thinking like, man, $35 billion in pure profit this year. What a banger. Artificial intelligence to deny claims, 90% of which are actually wrong. What a fantastic invention I engaged in. How the medical innovation, oh my Lord, the amount of coverage that we can just fucking deny because we made up some random AI thing. So sick. Like, that's probably what's going on in his mind, okay? I mean, he's up early. That's Sigma grind set. It's 6 a.m., okay? He up early as hell thinking about all the ways in which he's going to ruin the lives of tens of thousands of Americans. Because if you're that rich and that's your job, why the fuck are you up at 6 a.m.? You know what I mean? Like, why are you up 6 a.m.? Turns out this guy, he out-grindsetted the grindset CEO. Turns out he's up at 6 a.m. This motherfucker was up at 4 a.m. Okay? There's always a guy out there working harder, working smarter. He was like, oh yeah, you're up at 6 a.m.? Guess what, dude? You're down at 6:30, okay? That's what he said. walks up to him, bloom, blap, bloom. Now, those weren't the sounds that came out of that gun because as you can see, this is a very long barrel. Guess what? That's not a barrel. That is a silencer. Okay? That's right. Now, the interesting part about that is, no, this was not a fart. It was silent but deadly, but it was not a fart. Okay? It was a suppressor on his pistol. And most likely using subsonic rounds as well. That's the speculation on why the bullet, why he had to constantly fucking like rechamber after what is that what's called? Like when your gun is jamming, basically. Which was really crazy because it looked like an open and shut, like professional case. And the reason why I say that is because he was so cool throughout this entire process. I don't mean cool like, oh my God, he's like swagged out. That's a totally separate conversation. I mean, like he was cool as a cucumber. Like he was very calm throughout this process. He was very thorough. Now, people were saying that maybe it was because he wanted to get the casings after every shot, like collected, professional hitman style, Sicario style. Turns out he wanted to leave the casings there, as a matter of fact, because he wrote stuff on the fucking casings. He wrote stuff on the shells, which is wild. Okay. And when I first saw the story and I saw the media coverage over it, I thought it was very funny that people were like, yeah, this healthcare CEO got executed in broad daylight in the middle of in the middle of New York City. And the motive is unknown. And I was like, yeah, no, I think the motive is known. Like, it's one of those guys where I don't think this was a gay lovers quarrel, I don't think this was like, oh, his ex-wife called out a hit on him. Like, it's like that would be a unique setting. You know what I mean? It's like, it's one of those situations where it's like, if you heard Vladimir Putin got assassinated, you wouldn't be like, I wonder what the motive is here. You know what I mean? Like, there's many motives in that situation, but like, you feel me? Like, I doubt someone is doing that over the anger that they feel towards, I don't know, some kind of new tax that Vladimir Putin implemented. Right? Yeah, a real Paul Pelosi gay lovers quarrel situation. So, interestingly enough, this happened.
This video shooting and killing Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare. Police said it was no
What's crazy is this motherfucker was wearing a quarter zip in this fucking profile picture. Like, it is such, at this point, it's such a meme. Like, these guys, they love their quarter zips, dude. Like, I'm sorry. Like, what are we doing, dude? Why? You took a headshot. Well, no pun intended. And you were repping the quarter zip in the headshot, What are we doing here? What's going on? Y'all don't got nothing else? You just got quarter zips?
Every indication is that this was a premeditated, pre-planned, targeted attack.
The gun appears to have a silencer and jammed. When the shooter cleared it, police say he fired again.
From watching the video, it does seem that he's proficient in the use of firearms, as he was able to clear the malfunctions pretty quickly.
All units be advised in regards.
So that's a really interesting predicament because on the one hand, I don't know enough about guns, at least like suppressors and subsonic rounds, but like, I feel like if he was like a massive pro, I suspect that like some things that he did made me think that he is professional. But some things that he did made me not feel like he's professional. So I feel like when he has a suppressor on, like, shouldn't you be testing that at some point to make sure that you know it doesn't jam? Am I wrong about this? Gun perverts, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel as though, like, is it that inconsistent that even if you have a pistol, even if you have a suppressor, even if you test it out, right? Even if you test it out ahead of time, it still has the capacity to jam. So, like, that kind of made me feel like maybe this is not a pro, but also the fact that he cleared it and walked slowly and continued, eyes on the prize, that made me think he is a pro. The gun wouldn't cycle because of the subsonic ammo plus the suppressor. The gun isn't jamming. Subsonic rounds don't have enough power to move the slide all the way. Yeah, that's what I assume, but it didn't jam. You have to manually re-rack with subsonic ammo and a suppressor. The one they say delay is the one that blocked the gun, which is wild. It's not the ammo, not the suppressor, but it's odd he didn't test this since some guns will jam with subsonic ammo. Suppressors create more back pressure, so it should make the gun cycle faster. But if he had subsonic rounds, they would be quieter, but maybe not cycle the action. And yes, you would test it, but he may have removed the mainspring so the gun doesn't cycle on purpose because it makes it way quieter. The fact he was proficient in clearing the jam means he was expecting it to jam. Yeah, I mean, I feel like, putting myself in his shoes, right? In a situation, not when I'm like, executing the fucking CEO of a healthcare company that is responsible for denied coverage to tens of thousands of Americans. I'm just saying, like, in a situation where, like, if I'm shooting a gun at all at a range and it fucking jams, I don't have the technical proficiency to deal with it. I'm going to freak the fuck out. Right? So the fact that he was able to clear it while continuing to walk made me feel like he knew what the fuck he was doing. So, interesting stuff. Why would it change my opinion? Clearly the gun is cycling because gas is being released from the top of the gun when it's firing and is experiencing an FTF. The only difference subsonic ammunition would make is what type of failure the gun is experiencing. Appears to be a BNT VP9 magazine fed manually cycled gun with wait, no, was it a man? No, it's not. This person just made that up. VP9 is actually on my gun wish list. I didn't realize I had so many fucking gun fuckers in the chat, dude. What's wrong with you? Y'all are some real freaks, you know that? Like, what kind of, I've never even seen a gun like this. What do you mean this is on your wish list? I didn't even know this existed. Shit looks like a gun that a child would assume a gun looks like. Okay? This literally feels like a gun I would draw in like 5th grade before I ever encountered American gun culture.
I'm starting to see a bunch of comments coming through on mostly my Wellrod videos suggesting that Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, who was
gun channels are having a fucking incredible time.
Recently killed in New York City, was in fact killed with a Wellrod or a modern VP9. All of those comments, those theories are in fact pretty conclusively wrong. I've watched that video, the surveillance video myself.
Okay, first of all, I don't want to give anybody pointers, like especially the surveillance state, but how the fuck is CCTV footage in 2024 still so ass? Okay, what are we doing? You can't tell anything in that footage except for how fucking cool the guy was in his demeanor. Okay? You cannot tell if that's a well rod or a rod. You barely can tell it's a gun. Every goddamn CCTV footage still in 2024 is literally Vaseline lens, 1P. Makes no damn sense. Kathy Hochul stopping congestion pricing played a role in the escape. It didn't, but I want him to put in congestion pricing.
And what I'm seeing there is a typical semi-auto pistol with a suppressor that has been set up poorly and has malfunctioned on almost every shot. We see the guy grabbing the slide and yanking it back to clear malfunctions. That may seem like the same sort of motion that's required to cycle a well rod or VP9, but it's not. Having shot a number of well rods and VP9s, it's definitely a different mechanic going on. And looking at that video, the guy is clear.
This guy, okay, bro, how many times have you shot a fucking healthcare CEO, though? You know what I mean? Totally different circumstances, sir. He's like, oh, I shot a lot of well rods. Okay, not in the direction of a CEO. Maybe it's different. Have you thought about that? No, you haven't, okay? All you care about is the gun. It's a totally different... Dude, you don't understand. It's a totally different motion in that moment. He knows how guns work, bro. Guys, I'm fucking joking. Can everybody calm down? Put some respect on Forgotten Weapon's name. It's a joke, dude. I'm joking. God damn. Half a chat was making fun of the fucking random debate lords at Cambridge who also do not have the capacity to understand jokes. And now they're doing it themselves. Gum perverts gonna out themselves as assassin because everyone's getting it wrong?
Clearly trying to fix a regular semi-auto pistol. He is not shooting a well rod or a VP9. I'm starting to see a bunch of comments coming through on mostly my well.
Were you serious when you said the casings had writings on them? That's what they're saying. Anyway. United Healthcare orders employees to not talk to the press in the wake of the CEO's murder. What? That's insane. What do you mean? What do you mean? It's saying fucking you can't talk to the... Oh, there's also new... Oh, God. Fucking one of the worst parts of being in EU is like every goddamn fucking webpage is like, accept the cookies, mate. Do you accept the cookies, mate? Anyway, let's get back to it. So yeah, United Healthcare CEO is shot.